Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Ranger Retrospective. Today we're looking at the 6th season, also known as Power Rangers in Space. Now, this is considered one of the seminal seasons of Power Rangers for very good reason. So, Turbo left the franchise in a dismal state in most ways. I mean, financially it just wasn't selling that well, the storyline had ended on a very bleak note, and they basically cancelled the series. They'd said In Space is going to be the last season. So the writing staff just decided, screw it, let's go balls to the wall and make the best show we can. And they gave us this absolute gem. So the Rangers have left Earth because Diva Tox destroyed everything and Zordon has been captured. So they've gone into space to try and solve it. Along the way, they meet a Red Ranger who's an alien named Andros, this fellow here. And while he's reluctant to lead them at first, eventually he decides, clearly these guys can be of use to me, and we get the Power Rangers in space. So TJ becomes the Blue Ranger, and then the girls stay their basic colors. The Green Ranger, Carlos, switches to black, as is the case. With most things, they always switch from black to green or green to black. And then a Silver Ranger will join in later on. Now, Andros in this story, he's basically the Luke Skywalker of the Power Rangers universe. He has telekinetic powers, he's got a deep history with just the evil forces of the universe, because we're introduced to the main evil force of the entire franchise up to this point, the dude who has been in charge of every villain that's appeared, Dark Specter. This big, ominous, evil dude. So, he's out to conquer the entire universe, so the stakes have been risen so much from what they were. And Dark Specter has, working in his employ, Astronomer. Now, Astronomer, I think her name was the Mistress of Evil, or something along those lines, but she's our main villain for this season. Boots on the ground, she is the big bad. Now, deeper backstory, when he was a child, Andros' family was killed and his sister kidnapped by probably the most evil, or one of the most reprehensible villains in the franchise, this guy, Darkonda. Now, meanwhile, midway through the season, we find out that his sister wasn't killed. We find out that Darkonda gave her to Ecliptor, who is one of the most noble villains in the franchise, and this dude raised her to fight on the side of evil. And obviously it turns out that this is Astronomer. So, the Red Ranger and Astronomer are brother and sister, which definitely complicates matters. Now, we get the whole, I know you're in there fight sort of moment, and it does look like he's weakened her and turned her to the side of good. But then this is discovered, and she is cybernetically altered, and she becomes evil again. Which, it's very sad, there's a lot going on in this season. And I should point out that Darkonda and Ecliptor have one of the best dynamics ever in Power Rangers history. They're always opposed. Ecliptor genuinely cares about Astronomer. He looks on her as his daughter, whereas Darkonda is just evil. And they have a back and forth throughout the whole season. But what essentially happens is Dark Specter declares, let's invade everywhere. So every planet we've seen in the franchise up to this point gets attacked. It's an enormous battle. Earth is invaded. So the Rangers are trying to fight that, and Andros, Red Ranger here, manages to get onto the ship where Zordon is being held. And he has a big showdown with Ecliptor and Astronomer, and Zordon says to him, the only way to stop this is to destroy me, smash open my container, and the energy wave will purify or destroy all these evil entities. So Andros legitimately just straight up kills Zordon, smashes the tube, and the energy wave flows out, does exactly what Zordon said. Lord Zed, Rita are turned good, Divatox is turned good, and just we see pretty much every other evil character get obliterated by this wave. It also restores Astronomer to her original, good state. She is cleansed as well. And that marks the end of a very important chapter in Ranger history. It's called the Zordon Era, because obviously the main unifying force is gone, and it's when they just embrace that the suits are going to change between seasons with no real explanation. So this is when it becomes a much more fragmented series going forward. It's just like trying to review this season. There's so much going on, so much that happens. It's a culmination and expands the universe so much. It's, yeah, easily one of the best series of Power Rangers. The characters are done well, and we just get some great fight scenes. I forgot to mention the Psycho Rangers, because they're pertinent next season. Basically, at one point, Astronomer creates evil counterparts of the Rangers called the Psycho Rangers. They'll be important in Lost Galaxy, because they do recur. Lost Galaxy takes a bit from In Space, because they're trying to continue this spacey theme, but yeah, this is where the real shift into a more Super Sentai method of continuing the story begins. So yeah, that's Power Rangers in Space, an absolutely sweeping space epic that comes after the worst season of Power Rangers, or the worst season of the Zordon Era. So yeah, let me know what you think, or what you thought of this season in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, we have plenty more. We've got reviews, Hero House, the Wreckers, figure fights, top 10 lists, and ranking lists, so loads of content to enjoy. So please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again. Thanks for your time and all the best. Bye!